Hello and welcome to Camera Review. Today I want to discuss one of the most important topics that keeps coming up, and that is what is the best portrait lens in the market. Now there are a lot of 85 millimeters. Some people like to use 135 or 105 millimeter, but generally standard accepted number that is the focal length is usually 85 millimeters. So I want to specifically talk about the 85 millimeters and compare some of the lenses that are in the market, some of the cons and pros of owning these lenses. Some are going to be very expensive, some are going to be very cheap. So let's look at them and compare them. So let's start with one of the classic lenses that are in the market for quite some time. This is the 85 millimeter f1.4. This is a G type of lens. It has no aperture control over on top of the body. It's completely controlled in body, and this lens is being one of the staples for most of professional photographers. Now this lens is a very new design comparably to the older designs like the f2 that it was 85 millimeter for a very long time, which I will talk about in a minute. This is the lens that is currently in the market. It's still produced in Japan, thank God, because most of the production for other lenses from Nikon has shifted to China and their quality has plummeted. But this is one of the lenses that is still being produced in Japan, and it is of very good quality. Now if you look at this lens, it is $1,600. You can buy them used for probably $1,200 or $1,000 given the condition is good. I personally like this lens because it's an f1.4, so you get this amazing bokeh. It's autofocus lens, so you're gonna get that amazing sharpness if you get the focus right, and autofocus helps you to get that. When you have manual lenses at f1.4, it's very hard to nail that focus, and you can fire off many shots to get that incredible look that Nikon gives. The colors from Nikon lenses is one of the ones that I prefer over other lenses that are in the market. Now I think that this lens is rather light comparably. It weighs only 595 grams, so it is 21 ounces, and it has 10 elements in 9 groups. So it is a complex lens designed to remove as much of the distortion as possible, to remove as much of the chromatic aberration that happens with the lens elements, and also to reduce ghosting and flaring. So it is one of the modern lenses, and we're going to look at the other lenses that are of older designs and see how they compare. But this design that it has is a complex design, and also one of the lenses that costs a lot of money in the market compared to the other lenses. Now let's look at this other lens, which is from Zeiss. Now this Zeiss lens is actually a Canon mount, and this is a f1.4 just like the Nikon. It costs about $1,300. It is of construction that will last you a lifetime, a couple of lifetimes. It is of metal construction. It is very well built. It is designed on a system that was back in the 1960s, but the optics are incredible. It's the planar, and this lens has been in the market for quite some time. Now they're being replaced by the newer lenses like the Milvises and Batiste and other lines that are coming up. But these lenses have been used by professionals for a very long time. Now these are manual lenses, so for that very reason they are a little bit harder to use if you are going to do photography wide open at f1.4. It gives you that difficulty. But considering that this is a design that is from the 1960s, 70s, it is a design that has been able to provide great photography even up to this date. It has 6 elements in 5 groups, and it weighs at 670 grams. So it is about 70-80 grams heavier than a Nikon lens, but the design is, because it doesn't have a lot of plastic parts, is one that will last you a very long time. The optics are great. It has T coatings. What that means is that it is designed to reduce ghosting, designed to reduce flare. I think over the years Zeiss has updated the coatings on this lens, and that has created better images overall. And I personally love Zeiss lenses because of the quality of the construction and the images that they deliver. Now, comparably, if you look at one of the most expensive lenses in the market, is of course Leica. This Leica is cost $3,800. So for that price, you can get two Nikons or two and a half Nikons, or almost three Zeiss lenses. So what does this have? This has a very compact design. It has a very nice smooth aperture. It is also as well built as a Zeiss because it's all metal construction, and it is made in Germany. So they know what they do very well. Now this is an apochromatic lens. That's why they're called apo. So it removes all the purple fringing, which is one of the issues that has been plaguing lenses for decades and decades. Now these coatings, the way these lenses are designed, and the way the construction of these lens elements eliminates that. And that, for that very reason, I like this lens for using it wide open, and it gives me that beautiful contrasty image that gives me that Leica look. Now, is it worth to spend 3 times the price of a Zeiss? Well, that will all depend on what you're looking for. Also, another thing to consider, this is a manual lens. If you're going to use it at f2, you're not going to be able to focus as effectively is if you don't have a autofocus. Now, autofocus gives you that ability to nail the focus time after time without having to adjust the manual focusing. Again, this is f1.4, this is f2, a little slower, but still, if you're gonna use it at f1.4, it is very hard to nail that focus. So I have this lens, I use it at times, but it is for portraitures where the subject is not moving very much. And if you're going to use it for wedding photography, again, the way to go is autofocus lenses most of the times. If you're going to do in-studio photography, this lens will work very well. You could get other lenses from other manufacturers that will work as well. There are Sigma lenses as well. They also are of great quality. Now, having said that, some people have asked me, what can I use as a portrait lens that is very, very affordable? Well, that one, I'll give you this one. I use this for cinema purposes. This is a manual lens that was produced back in the 70s, 80s, even all the way to the 90s. And this lens is the 85mm f2. That 85mm f2 from Nikon or Nikon, it is amazing. It was the one that was designed to give the most beautiful colors, the contrast for the photographers and professional photographers for decades. So this lens is being proven, it has been field tested, it is one that gives you amazing images. So if you were to put the images that you get from this lens, compare it to this one, you're gonna have a hard time telling the difference in terms of sharpness. Now, the image contrast will be different because this has a more contrasted look. In my point of view, it has a more natural, more organic look than these modern lenses. These modern lenses, they correct the image so much that you will feel that it has the look that is, for example, very very digital. But this lens has that organic look, and that's one of the reasons why I prefer using these lenses for filming. And now this lens is $150. Yes, you heard it right, $150 compared to $1,600. So you can get 10 of these lenses. So it makes sense to have one of these in your bag if you're gonna be able to use it for outside shooting. This is gonna be serving you very well. If you're gonna travel, this weighs only 310 grams, half the weight of this big lens. It's smaller, and you're not gonna cry if you lose this lens or anything happens to it. This lens is built of metal construction, so it's gonna last you a very long time. So in my point of view, owning this lens is no harm. If you have the budget, spend a little bit of money, put this aside. This value will always hold, and these lenses will serve incredibly well. If I was going to do photography of landscape, or if I was going to do portraiture, these lenses that are older designs from Nikon are incredible because they give that beautiful organic look, and it is for that very reason I prefer them. In the same way, I prefer Leica R lenses from the older generation of Leica lenses, or the Leica M lenses from the days of Dr. Walter Mandler, which is the chief designer for Leica for the 1970s, 1980s. Those lenses are incredible in looks. So it is for these reasons I prefer these lenses quite a bit. Now, of course, there are many other lenses we can discuss. Of course, we are going to be discussing Canon lenses as well, but Canon lenses are a specific area. I want to compare them with other lenses that are in the market to show side by side, especially comparing it to lenses from Nikon and Sigma, to show you what the differences are. So I hope in this short review it has been informative. It has given you guidelines on owning portrait lenses. And if you have any questions, please send me a link, a line, a question, and I will give you that answer. Some people have asked me to review their videos. They have asked me to review their photographs. So you can drop me a line and I will answer those questions. If you like to attend one of our workshops, there's a link on our website at cameru.ca. I'll ask you to visit if you have time. Of course, if you like the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you next week. I thank you for watching.